Good afternoon, ladies. We will speak in the next half an hour, approximately, Bezrat Hashem, about something that relates to all of us, some more, some less. In case you don't know me, I speak for about 20 years. Most of my work is kiruv work, but in the last few years I also do kiruv krovim, what's dealing with from birth, because the situation in the world, when it comes to emunah, to faith, and to live according to the Torah in the last few years, needs a lot of chizuk. On one hand, there's many Baalei Tshuva. On the other hand, there are many from birth that going down. Something must be done about it. So I started to work in two different channels. And I speak on the radio in Brooklyn. If you live in Brooklyn, every Tuesday between 9 to 11 on J-Route, you can listen to it. I brought you here CDs. You can have them all for free. Each CD is about 30 hours of lecture and literally saving life, these CDs. It brings emunah and stability to people's life. The more miserable the person's life is, the more you will find those CDs, how they save him, better than any psychologist you can think of. Because it's speaking the right psychology that comes from the Talmud, from the Torah, from the Kabbalah, what Hashem said. And remember, there are many, many things that are happening today in the world, and everyone has an advice, but we can never rely on any human advice like we rely on the advice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. And those is all based on what the real Torah is, the real halacha is, and you will find it very encouraging. Now, I understand that there's big nisyonot in your life. It's very big nisyonot. It's 20 years that I go from one place to another. There's almost no night that I don't meet people that have huge nisyonos in their life. Comes to medicine, surgeries, bankruptcies, problems with the authorities, jail. The cancer epidemic is growing in such numbers. There's really no way to describe. And from time to time I go to hospital to visit people. Yesterday I was in a hospital in Queens. 60 years old man, how you see him, what's the end of a human being? You see what's happening, a person that a year ago was very strong and successful, and all of a sudden everything turns around. And many people see all these things and they have challenges in their emunah. Now I want to make one thing clear. Most of the questions in emunah that a person has come from ignorance. For sure it's a challenge. But most of the questions and the challenges, and when people fail when it comes to confidence in Hashem and emunah, believe it or not, it's lack of education when it comes to Torah and Jewish Yiddishkeit. It's a problem with lack of information, which means people grew up, it can be from birth all their life, but they never got the right education when it comes to this most important subject, emunah and bitachon. Some people have the wrong ideas, some people they got the wrong answers. We have to understand how this whole concept works. There's no way to understand what happened in our life and around us before we understand that the neshama, the soul that we have in our body, is not here for the first time. We were here already in different bodies. We should know that. It's already been proven scientifically. I brought you a DVD here. It's called Life After Death. After you watch that 2 hours film, it will be more than clear to you with no hesitation that we were all here before.
Every neshama?
Almost every neshama. There's very rarely, very, very rare that there's a neshama who came in this generation for the first time ever. It's almost not possible. Even the Stipler, which was about 40, 50 years ago, they asked him that question, the father of Rav Chaim Kanievsky, and he said there's hardly any new neshamos. Why? If we hypnotize people today, we find out that every person that was hypnotized in the world, Jews and non-Jews, in today's generation, already gave information from his previous life. There was not one time, to the best of my knowledge, I mean, obviously I don't know what's happening all over the world, but for thousands of cases that I read and heard about in the last 20 years, Everyone spoke in different languages and described previous life, where they used to live in Europe with different languages, different accents. Man was a woman was a man. A Jew that is an Israelite, he used to be a Kohen, or the other way around. It's very interesting. So therefore, we bring to our new life, to our new round, we bring negative bag with us that we have to correct, we have to improve, we have to fix. And that's one of the main reasons why many people have questions about their life. Why do I deserve this? What have I done? Why do I have to suffer 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, whatever the case is? Why do I have to suffer for something I never did? Why? I'm innocent. I keep modesty, I keep Shabbos, I keep kosher, I raise my children faithfully, I was a good one, I was everything. Everything that Hashem wants, 90%. No one is perfect. Why do I need to get such an nisayon? Why I need to have such a challenge? The answer is, yes, maybe if you examine your life right now, you definitely don't deserve even 1% of what you're getting, based on your previous life. You have to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't give a person something unless he deserves it, not 100%, 1,000,000%. And every Jew that grows and wants to be an Eved Hashem, servant of Hashem, this is the first principle in Judaism. It's one of the 13 principles. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays good for those who deserve it, and He gives bad for those who deserve it. Nothing is coincidence. It's no roulette that Hashem has a different mood today, and He turns it around, and this number came up, and today it's his turn to suffer. And tomorrow he has another roulette, his turn is to get a reward. It doesn't work this way. The way it works is that in the end, after evaluating all the reincarnations, all the times that we came to this world again and again and again, whatever we get, we deserve. Now that's one step. Second step is, not necessarily what we think is bad, and what we think is good. Many, many times what people think, wow, how lucky is this person? And in the end it turns around that what we thought is great, it was actually the poison that destroyed him. Rav Zilberstein gave an example, I believe it was in one of his books, Aleinu Leshabeach. He said that one time he was on a bus to Yerushalayim, and he saw on the side a very nice fancy car on the way to Yerushalayim, completely smashed, which left no doubt that the people in that car got killed. So he said, when I drove and I saw that car, how it is and what tragedy came with this car. So I said to myself, when this person bought that car, who knows how many thousands of people in Israel were so jealous with him, what a lucky guy he is, how Hashem gave him such a car and we cannot even afford a quarter of this car. That's what Rav Zilberstein wrote. How many people thought it's the best thing that can have happened? In the end, Chas v'Shalom, this car brought tragedies to this family. So there's no way to know. Sometimes we cry for something that we should laugh about. Sometimes we laugh about something that we should cry for. Chazal are teaching us something very important. It says, Sha'arei dim'a lo ninalu. The gate of tears were never locked. All other gates in heaven were locked, which means we don't have the schut. The merit that we had 2,000-3,000 years ago is gone. But one gate is wide open, always. What is it? The gate of tears. Person that cries with all his heart, with a broken heart, HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to him. One way or the other, he will reply to those requests in the right timing. This is what we say, V'ata noten lahem et ochlam be'ito. You give them their food, their parnasa, in the best timing for them. We do not know what's good timing for us. Sometimes we can make the money now, and then we lose it, and then we need it 5 years from now. And sometimes Hashem gives it exactly, this is the blessing, that it comes in the right timing. Same thing, the rain. If the rain comes 2 weeks before in Israel, the farmers lost their entire season. If it comes 2 weeks later, also the same thing. It has to come within a week to 2 weeks. That's the range. If it comes later, it's all gone. And if it comes earlier, it ruins everything. So the most important thing, not that plenty would come. Even a little bit that comes, it's good. But as long as it comes in the right timing, a little in the right timing is better than a lot in a wrong timing. You should know timing is everything in life. So Chazal say, Sha'arei Dim'a lo ninalu. So one Chacham asked, if it's called Sha'arei Dim'a, and Chazal are teaching us that they are never locked, they're always wide open. So they ask, in that case, why are you calling it a gate? Why are you calling it a gate? Gate is something that get locked and get reopened, get locked and get reopened. Why do you call it a gate if it's always open? Call it an entrance. Knisa. Why are you calling it a gate? So the answer is, the gates are wide open to people that cry for the right things. As long as you write for the right things, which Hashem agree with this crying, then they're always open for you. Express. You don't need no line, no making an appointment, nothing. You cry and you go express through. But if you cry for nonsense, then when you come to cry for the right things, those gates are locked for the person. Why? Because Hashem say, well, you cry for a lot of things that I'm very upset with, that you want it. So now when you cry for something positive, take a number, wait online. Why? Because it's all midah keneged midah. This is how it is. And we find ourselves, almost with no exception, that we cry many times for things that we shouldn't cry. We cry for convenience, we cry for better lifestyle, we cry for materialism, we cry for pride and ego, and someone insulted us, and life is a little bit hard. But if we compare our life to the life of other people that we read about them in the books, after all, we find that sometimes our life is paradise compared to them. I give one example. There was, in one of the Holocaust books, they wrote about a very, very wealthy family in Germany, that, one day the Nazis came, they took them out of the house, they took away everything they had little cash left, they took whatever they could take, and then this family went to hide in a sewer. Their family lived in a sewer. You know what it means to live in a sewer in a freezing winter of Germany, or in a hot summer when all the bathroom of all the German people goes on their head, when there's rats the size of watermelons walking on their face when they try to sleep on a sidewalk, they're down under the ground. For 3 years they hid in a sewer with all the sicknesses, and they came from a beautiful mansion, like with all the famous architectures of the Germans and all that, and all of a sudden they found themselves in such a place. I don't have to tell you what a nisayon is that. Or that they made people walk on the snow barefoot for 3 days. You know what it means to stand 5 minutes barefoot in the snow right here outside? The legs become blue and swollen. You look, I don't know how people did it. It's against the law of nature. If a person stands 1 hour on the snow barefoot, the pain is beyond words. And people walked, marched for days, and some people made it. Some died, some made it. The nisyonot that people had is beyond anything that we can imagine. So life is full of challenges. And the Torah teaching us something very interesting. The more Hashem loves a person, the more that person suffers in life. Not like everyone think. Everyone think, oh, this guy is lucky, he made it, he's very successful. So what's the Torah say? The opposite. They say, Et asher yoav Hashem yeyasro. Someone that Hashem loves, he actually tortured him. So what is this? Sadistics? What Hashem enjoy to torture people? What's going on over here? The answer is because suffering in this world is equal to a lot bigger suffering in the afterworld. Most people think, as long as I don't have to suffer here. And when people suffer here, everyone feels bad for them, which is normal. It's a normal reaction. But if people would really learn very good, lots of Torah, lots of Kabbalah, and they would know the descriptions of what's happening to people in the afterlife, for every little sin, what's the price? Then they say, I got away very easy. I got away very easy with my kind of suffering compared to how bad he could have been. And the people who smile today and they sing, Baruch Hashem, I'm healthy, I'm lucky, I'm free, I'm making, I'm doing. And they thinking, I'm lucky, Hashem loves me. Look, my friend is suffering and I'm not like this. That means Hashem like me is the other way around. For you, Hashem is preparing something for later on, which will be a lot bigger. So everything is the opposite. The Gemara says, one of the Amoraim, his son died, and his neshama went up to the Shamayim, and then he came back to life, what we call today clinical death. And his father asked him, what did you see up there? So he told him, I've seen I've seen everything is the opposite of this world. Everything. Everyone that is important over here is nothing over there. And everyone that over here is supposedly considered to be nothing is very important over there. So his father told him, no, you saw the real world up there. Over here it's all opposite. As Chazal say, Alma de Shikra, it's the world of lies. It's all fake, it's all illusion, it's all external. Many people that look very righteous, they're very wicked. And many people who would not even look at them and you think they're righteous, they're very righteous. And it's not the clothes that makes the person, and it's not from what family he came, and it doesn't matter that his grandfather was a huge Rabbi. Hashem doesn't give reward based on who your grandfather is, and how nice your clothes are, and how long your beard are. This is all important thing. I'm not saying they're not important, but they're very minor. 1 minute of Lashon Hara is already worse than walking 60 years without a beard. 1 minute, but people don't know how to compare. Because this is a scene from the Torah, a serious scene, and this is not a scene, this is tradition. You don't want, you don't want. Or give other example, if a person dressed a little bit different than the other, in Shamayim they won't evaluate that person based on how he dress, as long as it's modest. They evaluate you, how you live, what kind of emunah you have, how you happy. There's mitzvah in the Torah always to be happy. But everybody understands there's times in life very difficult to be happy. But then that is halacha, chayav. Chayav means that it's an obligation. It's not a suggestion. It's not a recommendation. It's an obligation. Chayav adam levarech al hara'a keshem shemevarech al hatova. Person has to bless Hashem, mamash like we do birkat hagomel. Thank him, thank Hashem for what is considered very bad in his life, with the same joy that he bless Hashem for the greatest days of his life, like when he married his children, or when he had a baby, or when he made a lot of money, or all kinds of exciting things that happen in his life. When the biggest tragedies happen, he has to bless Hashem equally. How many people can follow this halakha, this obligation? Not that many. But if Hashem said that a person has to do it, that means it's possible. Now, if I'm not able to do it, let me see how can I improve myself. Which means HaKadosh Baruch Hu said the Torah is for all the generations until the end of time, equally. Which means it applies to me just like it applied to Rabbi Akiva 2,000 years ago. Same thing. And Hashem said everyone must say bracha for the good, the same he does for the bad. Means every Jew, even the smallest one, even the one in the lowest level in this generation is capable of doing it. Why? Because if not, he would not be halakha for generations. When there used to be halakha for generations, HaKadosh Baruch Hu used to send prophets. And the prophets came and say, only now this has to be done. Only now is milchemet mitzvah. Everyone has to leave their businesses, they have to leave the yeshivot and go to fight, go to a war. Risk your life, risk whatever you have. So this is a temporary obligation. But when it comes in the Torah, which is a permanent obligation, which means every one of us, with no exception, can reach this level. He should be happy just like in the greatest moments of his life. And the way to do it is to work very, very strongly on learning emunah every day. It's not something that you learn a day or two a week and you think it's going to stay by you. Emunah, it's like food. When you eat, you're full. Few hours you don't eat, you become hungry again. You say, hey, why? Yesterday I ate. Why am I hungry again now? Because emunah comes in and it doesn't stay in. There are certain things in life, such as knowledge. It comes in, it stays in. At least it's supposed to stay in. Once in a while you have to refresh your memory with what you learn. But it comes in, that's it. If you didn't believe in Hashem, and someone just proved to you there is Hashem, once you got to a point that it was proven, you know it for the rest of your life. You don't need again a proof. That's it, you know, it's knowledge. If you didn't know about germs, and someone proved to you with a microscope they exist, before you did not know, now you know, that's it, you know it for life. But emunah, today you are very convinced. I will speak now, in the next half an hour you will feel all encouraged. Tomorrow you're back to zero. And tomorrow you have to hear it again. And every day it's like mamash, like the same obligation. We have to eat, we have to feed the neshama. And this is the test of life. The test of life. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say in the Midbar, don't save man for tomorrow. Eat everything today. Hashem did not want the Jews to keep bread for tomorrow. What's the crime of saving? If I made today $100 in my work, and I put on the side 40 for tomorrow in case I won't have, is that a crime? We see that Hashem treated them like criminals. Why? The ones who left for tomorrow, what happened? It became all rotten, all full of worms. What's the crime? Okay, so he doesn't have 100% confidence in Hashem that tomorrow he'll have what to eat. Is that a crime? The answer, yes. So Hashem wanted everyone to have emunah in him, 100%. Now, sometimes we think that we know better than Hashem what's good for us. We know better than him. Hashem, if you only give me this, or if you only do this different, then I can take it. Well, why you did it like this? Why you did it like this? Give me that. Change one thing at least. Change this. But the point is, remember that Hashem, at any given moment, He knows what's good for our neshama. Not we look at the body. We always think body, body, body. How I'm going to live here, how I'm going to survive, how I'm going to have food, how I'm going to have a place to live, how I'm going to deal with the shame, all these things that we think about. But Hashem doesn't evaluate us as body. Body, it's a factor, it's important. He evaluates us as a soul, and a soul is beyond any understanding of 99% of the people here. Only the big chachamim that learns a lot and they go deep, they understand what a soul is. Most people don't understand what a soul is. Most people in the world don't even understand what reincarnation is. They don't understand what does it mean that a soul is paying now for something he did 500 years ago in a different body. They don't see the connection. That's why they have millions of questions. So the point is like this. Hashem at any given moment is doing what's good for your neshama. And sometimes it contradicts what's good for the body. I'll give you an example. People happen to think that who goes to jail? Criminals. They did a crime and they go to jail. Is it true? Absolutely not. If that was the case, how Rabbi Akiva went to jail? Rabbi Akiva was in jail. He was the most important Jew in history. If somebody asks you who is the greatest Jew in history, the answer is Rabbi Akiva. Why? Why not Moshe Rabbeinu?
Why not Yosef?
Huh? No, Rabbi Akiva is the highest level. Why? Yosef HaTzadik is before Judaism started. It was only the Hebrews. I say the greatest Jew that lived. From time the Torah was given, which Moshe is the beginning, Rabbi Akiva reached the highest level on his own. Why? Everything in Shamayim is based on the efforts. It's not what we think over here, or based on achievement. It's based on efforts. And the efforts that Rabbi Akiva did started at age 40 as a complete ignorant Am Haaretz, not knowing Aleph Bet, and start with zero, and he made it to 120 years with the highest knowledge. And Moshe got everything from Hashem in like a CD. Hashem inserted the CD in his head, and he knows all the Torah. Rabbi Akiva gained it in 8 years of very hard work. So what was his reward, supposedly? That in the end of his life, it was a long time in jail. Some say few months, some say few years. 120 years old man, and the Roman are torturing him. And in the end, not only that they killed him the way the famous story is saying, they took his meat, cut it to pieces, and sold it by the butcher shops of the Goyim. That's what they did to Rabbi Akiva. So people say, oh, this is the reward of the greatest Jew in history? So the answer is, we see that there are certain things beyond any understanding, but it's way, way, way higher than what we are able to understand. But I'm giving you an example. The point over here right now is that in any moment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu evaluate what's the best for the soul. The Gaon Mivilna went to jail. The first Lubavitcher Rebbe went to jail. The Ben Ish Chai, that since he was a little orphan, a little baby, he was already in Torah, age 6, already knew more Torah than what rabbis in their 90s know today, the Ben Ish Chai, 100 years ago in Baghdad. And what happened? He signs on the papers for his brothers in Iraq, and the brothers were doing business. For years he was working, and then there's some problems in the business, and the Iraqi police came, they checked everything, and they saw Yosef Chaim, he signed on it. They went to his house and put him in jail. So he wrote that the best years of his life, the best time of his life, not years, the best time of his life was when he was in jail. He reached the highest level of his life. Most people today, so they will not admit it. But if you speak to the honest ones, they'll tell you that they understand 100% what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it to them. Some don't understand, fine, it's a hard nisayon. But some say 100%. For instance, he used to be in Israel a politician, that they sent him to jail for a few years. And what happened over there? When he came out of there, he said, that was the best year of my life. So they told him why. They said, because I was in business, in politics, I didn't have time to breathe, no time to learn seriously Torah, like the days when I was a teenager in yeshiva. All of a sudden, I found myself in a quiet place, and I had nothing to do, and started to learn Torah, and I was great. And then I was learning, and then in the end, Hashem gave me the zchut to teach all the other prisoners. So I became also Mizrachi Rabim, like a Rabbi. I have my class every day, teaching their Gemara, and making few of the Chilonim religious. So you say, how can it not be the greatest year of my life? And what happened? So he realized that Hashem wanted to give him few years' time to sit and learn Torah. The best example of our generation is the murderer of the Israeli Prime Minister Rabin. He was a kippah sruga religious Jew, and he shot, supposedly, some say he didn't show, whatever. It's known that he's the one who pulled the trigger. And he shot the Prime Minister of Israel, and he killed him, and they put him in jail, and they put him in isolation, in a worse condition. He doesn't come in contact with other prisoners. He doesn't have television, no nothing in his room. He's alone. What the person does when he's in a tiny room alone? So he wanted to get books. Until that, it was more chiloni than religious. Oh, he lived, he went to university, the way he was dressed, more chiloni than form. And what happened since he's there for many years? He learned the entire Shas, he finished the whole Gemara, and he finished the entire Shulchan Aruch. Definitely, he himself say, he would never in his lifetime before would even think to finish Shas. What does someone like me have to do with Shas? I'm a student in Bar Ilan University. I want to be a lawyer or a businessman. What does that have to do with me, Shas? I'm going to learn Shas full time? Doesn't even cross his mind. Or the entire Shulchan Aruch. He became now a big Talmid Chacham. Think about it. Something that would never happen to him. And the Gemara was just telling you that the son of this Amorah came to his father and he said, I've seen everything opposite over there. His father told him, what else did you see? So he said, I heard an announcement over there. Ashrei mi sheba lekan v'talmudo beyado. The ones who are the luckiest here are the ones who come with Torah knowledge, not with billions of dollars, not with fancy homes, not with fancy record, not with all kinds of pictures on the wall that everyone admires them for their great contribution to the community. This is all nonsense. The bottom line, you come to Shamayim, there are few things that will save you. Number one, how much Torah you learn in your life with efforts. Number two, how much Zikui Arabim you did, how many souls you saved. How did you help others? Chesed, Torah, ugmilut chasadim. What else? Suffering. How much you suffer? The suffering erased almost all the problems that we can have in the afterlife. I'll give you an example. There was one Jew that walked in a forest, and a non-Jew saw him, and he hated Jews, and he took advantage. He said, I'm alone here. That's an opportunity to hit that Jew. So he started to hit him with a stick. As he's breaking his bones, the Jew got lucky. The king and some soldiers were riding by. So the king saw one man hit the other. So he stopped right away. And he said, what are you doing here? So he said to the king, what do you care? He's a Jew. So the king said, oh, he's a Jew? Arrest him right away. The king was fair. So the king arrested him right away. And then they brought both of them to the palace. They put the non-Jew in a jail, and they took the Jew to the doctors of the king to take care of him. So after a few days, he took care of him. The king said, okay, let's judge this criminal to see what's going to be. So he came to him and he said to him, how many times you hit him? So he told him, I don't really know. I mean, I didn't count, but I think about 100 times. So he asked the Jew, do you think he hit you about 100 times? So the Jew said, yeah, approximately 100 times. So he said to the guy, he said to him, listen, for every time you hit him, you have to give him $1,000. So you have 3 days to pay the money, or not, I send you to prison for a long, long time. So the Jew started to cry. Until now, he wasn't crying. Now he started to cry. So the king said to him, wow, what's the problem? I did not make a fair ruling. So he said, no, you're great, your majesty. You're a great king and a great judge. So why are you crying? He said, if I knew in the forest that he hit me, that every time it's $1,000, I wouldn't resist. I prevented about 20 or 30 of the shots. Now, I would go and say faster. Why? Because I know it's $1,000 each one. This is just a mashal for us to understand. It's easy to talk. Everybody knows. When it comes to talking, it's easy. When it comes to live it, it's 1,000,000 times harder. I'm not pretending I'm keeping or a hero and I come as an experienced guy that have a nisyonot and I passed all of them. No. But if we won't talk, we will not even do because we won't know what needs to be done. We have to know in this world, Baruch Hashem, we're lucky about one thing, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't pay us our reward based on our achievements. He only gives us the reward based on the efforts and the suffering that we went through to achieve the goal. This is the main reward. I'll give you an example what I mean. If you took your car to the mechanic and you told him, listen, the car has an electric problem. It doesn't start, it gets stuck. All the lights goes on, it's crazy. So the mechanic said, okay, leave it here, $60 an hour, we'll fix the problem. So you leave it over there. After 2 hours you call him, no, it's ready? He said, no. 2 more hours, ready? No. The day is over. No, what's with my car? I need it for tomorrow. He said, no, we couldn't find the problem. You have to leave the car 1 more day. And it's been going on like this, 1 day, 2 days. It's a common problem here in America. Call tomorrow, call next time. If you want, we'll give you a loaner. You know, okay, so now it's a week already. The car is in the garage. And you pass by and you see they're working on a car. They cannot find the problem. Friday arrived. You put it in Sunday, now it's Friday. You come to the mechanic and say, are you normal? 1 week, I don't have a car. So the mechanic say, come take your car. The bill is $3,600. So you say to him, what do you mean $3,600? The whole car doesn't work that much. So he say to you, listen, we work very hard. Did you fix the problem at least? Say, no, we couldn't find the problem. But you still have to pay us based on the hours we put in. What would happen to this mechanic? Probably will go out of business after it goes on the news. You take him to court. Not only you don't have to pay him, he may have to pay you for the week that he kept the car. So this is this world. In this world, you get judged based on your achievement only. You achieved, you get paid. You didn't fix the problem, you didn't do what you were hired for, you get nothing. You came to do the job, you made one tiny mistake. The rich man doesn't want to pay. You go to court, in the end you lose. Told you, I want this in this way. And you did it a little bit different. 2 inches different. That's not what the contract say. But I worked a month in his house. The judge said, I'm very sorry. The contract say, you get paid when you finish the job. The job wasn't finished correctly. Goodbye. Baruch Hashem, Hashem is not like that. Otherwise, we would be a lost case, all of us. He gives us for how much we try, how much we worked on ourselves, not how much we achieve. Even we achieve nothing, we get a huge reward. Why? Because the suffering and the efforts, that's what determine how the eternity that we're going to have when we die will be. So that's what Chazal taught us. Lefum tza'ara agra. The more sorrow and pain we have in this life, the more reward we're going to get. I know it sounds a little bit obvious that I try to cheer you up, but I promise you, take my word for that 1,000,000 times, that everything I told you right now, it's 1,000,000% reality. There's nothing greater for the person in this world that will get him more reward in the afterlife, and over there it's not 20, 30, 50 years. It's eternity. The Olam Haba, the Gemara says like this, listen, the Gemara says, if you take all the pleasure of all the people, of all the generation, of their entire life, from the beginning of the world until the end of the world combined, will not be equal to the reward that Hashem will give to every Jew in the afterlife, even for 1 hour. I repeat, let's try to imagine. You have 7.4 billion people in the world. An average person today live 80 years. About 80 years. So 80 years multiplied by 7.4 billion. Okay, now this is just the amount of time of this generation. Go to the next, the previous one, and the previous one, and the previous one. If you add all the amount of people who lived here together, more than 100 billion people. 100 billion people from Adam until today, multiply by, well, in the old generation, they lived shorter life. Let's say multiply by 70 years. Now, every day a person has some pleasure. Food, relationship, moments of joy, making money, fame, whatever, vacation, swimming, sports, everyone with what he likes. Add everything together, 100 billion, multiply by 7 years, of all the pleasures that they had in 80 or 70 years of their life, combined, will not reach the 1 hour in the afterlife of how much the soul will enjoy. Now multiplied by eternity, the reward cannot be described. How do you get that huge reward? Torah, Gemilut Chasadim, honesty, Emunah, Bitachon, and suffering. That's it. So, Torah, most people that are in business don't have time for Hashem and Torah. Yeah, they keep the mitzvot. From, what do you want? But they don't have time for Torah. 1 hour, 2 hours, big deal. All his life is in the business. Business is a full-time job. The Gemara say, when a rich person comes to Shamayim, they ask him, "Mipnei ma lo asakta b'Torah?" Why he did not learn? So he say, "How can I learn? I have a multi-billion-dollar company, offices, building, employees. I have a big responsibility. Well, I have time to sit 4 or 5 hours a day to learn Torah." So right away, Hashem showed him a video of Rabbi Elazar ben Charsom. His father was a multi-billionaire. He left him 1,000 cities and 1,000 boats full of merchandise in the ocean. And what did he do? He took flour in a bag and some cash, and he went to learn Torah. He left everything. Didn't even come to claim it. So in the end, when he's going to yeshiva, there were people who were making a road. They say, "Hey, you, come help us. We have to make a road for Charsom, for the owner of this town." And he's the son. He inherits everything. He didn't tell them, "I'm his son. Everything belongs to you, and you're working for me." Nothing. He said, "Leave me alone. I have to go to learn Torah. I don't have time to waste now." They told him, "Listen, we all have things to do. You have to come and help." So he gave them some bribe from the cash that he had, and he went to learn Torah. So the Gemara say, Hashem showed to the rich people, "Were you richer than Elazar ben Charsom? Look what his father left for him." And what was in his mind? How fast I can get to the yeshiva and sit and learn Torah. David HaMelech, the king of Israel, which is basically at that time like the king of the world in his fame and glory. David HaMelech is begging Hashem, "I'm begging you, make me a yeshiva bachur." That's his prayers. Read Tehillim. I'm sure you read Tehillim more than once in your life. What is half of the Tehillim? My dream is that I'll be able to sit quietly and learn Torah. Enough with this palace, with the army, with the kingdom, with all the... Shivti bevet Hashem kol yemei chayai. I'm begging you, make me sit in an old, broken yeshiva with water leaking on my head, as long as I have a book and I'm able to learn Torah, more than this entire kingdom that I have. Now, how do we know David HaMelech is not a faker, that's really what he felt? And that's only that Hashem confirmed that that's what he felt, and that's the truth. How do we know? It's in the Tanakh. What I say, it's not in the Tanakh. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, fine. When David HaMelech wrote something and Hashem puts it in the Tanakh, that means it's an integral part of Judaism. Hashem agreed, put his stamp on it. It's inside. Iyov wasn't a Jew. He was a goy prophet. But everything he said was Be'ashrat Hashem. Words of Hashem. It's in the Tanakh. Everything that made it into the 24 books of the Tanakh is Divrei Elokim Chaim. And what is the truth? All this fancy schmancy lifetime will not worth 1 hour of Torah. So, in every bed, there's a lot of good. Usually the women pay the price. They sacrifice. But Rabbi Akiva said to the 24,000 Talmidim, "Leave her alone." When Rachel came, everything that we have and learn, it's all hers. And this is what the Chazal say. Chazal says in the Gemara, he said that a person has a very bad woman, the worst. not respecting him, not anything. So the Gemara say, Dayam, it's enough that 2 things, it's enough. One, that she saved her husband from the sin, and the second, what is the second one? That she raised the children for Torah. For those 2 things, he already owe her more than you can imagine. He cannot make a beep or complain about his wife, ever. No matter how bad she's in everything else, if she does those 2 things, it's already more, and his gratitude to her is beyond any words. And then what does it say over there? That the foundation, the Chazal never called a woman wife. There's no such thing, Ishto. What is it? Beto is home. A wife is a home. People think women in Judaism is not as important as men. It's the opposite. The most important thing in the eyes of Hashem is preparing the future generation to follow Torah. As Hashem says in the Torah, I love Abraham and I trust him because I know he will inherit his knowledge to his children and grandchildren after him. Which means that's what I'm interested in. Not only that he will know the truth, that he will teach to the people to come. Which means preparing the next generation is the most important thing for Hashem. And who does it? The women. Who teach the women more? The father or the mother? The mother. Everything they learn from the mother. They're with her all the time. They see how she behaves. They see what she does. They see how she prays for them. They see what struggle she goes through. They'll never forget it. And I will finish with one story. In Israel, there was one widow with few kids. She lived in a little apartment. She was very poor. And she had a leak. Now, a leak in Israel is much harder to fix than here. Over here, it's all sheetrock. You cut, you find the pipe, you cut it. 2-3 hours, the job is done. In Israel, it's real cement. It's blocks of cement. You have to break. It's a big job. It's not like here, sheetrock, all very easy to cut. It's a real serious job. So it's about a week to fix, to find first where the leak comes from, because if the water comes from here, doesn't mean it leaks from here. It can leak there, and it goes all the way and comes from here. Very difficult. So it's 1 week, a job. So a guy came into the apartment, and he said to the woman, the price of this is 3,000 shekel to fix it. She doesn't have any money. He said to him, okay, I will give you a little bit now, and as we move on, I'll give you more and more, little by little. So fine. As he started the job, now you live with the family. You're there all day, you see how they live, you see how they calculate how much food to put on the table and to leave some for later. He started to feel bad for them, again, emotional. So he said to her, to the woman, when he was about to finish the job, you don't have to worry about the money. I made an application to the city, and I got you approved. He brings her a paper. He said, all you have to do is to sign here, and the city will pay me for the job. Don't worry about anything, nothing. So she said, wow, I'm so happy. I didn't know what to do. Where will I get you the money? Thank you, Hashem bless you. You give him hundreds of blessings. Sign here, that's it. And he left. The years went by. This plumber, Hashem saw what he did. He made him bigger and bigger in business. And he became industrial plumber. Now he does building, not little apartments, buildings. So one day he got a big job. He has to get a plumbing supply for the whole building. So he goes to a place in Petach Tikva in Israel that they sell over there all the pipes, everything you need. And he gives the lady there exactly what he needs, and she checks, she gives him prices, she gives him an estimate price. So he said, okay, I'll get back to you tomorrow. He goes back to his office. 2 hours later, he sees a huge truck coming into his property. What is this? He said, delivery. So I didn't make any order. So yeah, you were in a plumbing supply in the morning. This is the paper you submitted, no? Here, I'm only the driver. I'm delivering all the goods. So he said, no, it's a mistake. I only took an appraisal of the job. He said, no, it's all paid. What are you telling me it's an appraisal? It's all paid, and my job is to deliver the goods. So he said to him, listen, it's a mistake. Don't unload anything. Let me run quickly over there and talk to them. So, okay, do it quick. He drive already to the place. So the girl checking the computer. She said, I'm very sorry, it was paid. She said, what paid? I was here in the morning. I told you I'll get back to you. She said, I know what you told me, but I'm going by what the computer say. This is it. Why are you asking too many questions? Just go get it. It's paid. I said, no, I'm not a thief. I didn't pay. You want to speak to the owners? Go upstairs to the office right there. He goes upstairs. He opened the door. He see two guys. So he said to them, hey, what do you found a new way to trick customer? They ask questions about prices. You're already delivering everything? I don't want lawsuits. So they say to him, don't worry, relax. The town approved the application and they paid us for everything. So he said to them, what town? He said, whoa, 20 years. We are searching for you everywhere. 20, remember 20 years ago you came to fix a leak in an apartment in that street? He said, yeah, I remember. Remember you told the woman over there, the town paid you for the job? You fooled our mother, but not us. We were the kids over there. And Baruch Hashem, we grew up and Hashem blessed us and all of this empire belongs to us. As soon as we saw you walking in, we remember what you did for us. Everything is paid. You don't have to pay anything. This is it. This is life. Everything, in the end, whatever we today cry for, in the end, will bloom a beautiful tree. Bezrat Hashem, you have to stick to it, to learn Emunah. It will ease everything. It will make everything a lot easier. Emunah every day. And these CDs, in every one of them is at least 1 or 2 or more lectures that would uplift you on a daily basis. Hear it in the kitchen, hear it in the car, hear it at work. Everywhere you can hear it, the more you hear it, the better it's going to get. Thank you very much, and call to.